Here I discuss about the energy balance. That is, you know that U in minus E out. Okay, if it is written in rate form is per unit time, so you can write that dE CV by dt. Okay, so what is it? This is the deposit minus withdraw, and that is equal to the saving. So this terms become the zero because we are studying the steady state systems. So steady, okay, and you know that energy can be, in case of the open system, energy can be transferred in the form of heat, work, and mass. Okay, so you can write Q in minus Q out. Okay, plus W in minus W out plus, you know that in open systems M in equal to mass flow rate at the inlet is equal to mass flow rate at the outlet. Okay, that is for case of steady flow device. Okay, so you can write that M. So here I directly written, or you can write better in this form: H plus VA square by 2 plus GZ, okay, at inlet minus M out H plus VA square by 2 plus GZ at outlet equal to 0. Okay. So I told you that energy can be transferred in the form of heat, work, and mass. Okay. So this is due to the heat transfer, this is due to the work transfer, and this is due to the mass transfer. Okay. Now you don't need to remember any equations. You just remember that deposit minus withdraw is equal to saving. Okay, and then you can analyze any device. For example, in the last lectures I discussed about the nozzle. Okay, so you know that nozzle is a device that increases the velocity of fluid at the expense of pressure. Okay, so here nozzle is not, and you can say that there is no heat transfer between the nozzle and the surroundings. So and no, or vice versa. So this terms becomes the 0. Okay, and nozzle is not producing any work, so this terms become the 0. Okay, then you can assume that the potential energy means Z1 equal to Z2. So these terms you can neglected. Okay. So what are the remaining terms? Remaining terms is that M into H1 minus H. Here I just one inlet I represented by 1 and 2. So or otherwise you can write in and out. H in minus H out plus V in square minus V out.
Square divided by 2.
Yes. Divide by 2 equal to 0. Okay. So the major mistakes the student which you did that H you have considered the unit in the kilojoule per kg. Okay. That enthalpy, and here it's in a joule per kg. Okay. So what you will do whenever you are solving, try to convert the H into the joule per kg. So you are getting the correct answer. So the major mistakes, otherwise you need to divide by the here 1000. So this terms also become the kilojoule per kg. Okay. So if you forget to divide, so better you should consider this, convert the enthalpy into the joule per kg. Then you are getting the correct answer. Okay. So most of the times students considering the H in kilojoule per kg and finding the velocity. Okay. So you will getting the wrong answer. Why? Because you are considering the H in terms of the kilojoule per kg, but here this terms in joule per kg. Okay. So whenever you are solving, you should consider the H always in the joule per kg instead of the kilojoule per kg. Okay. So if it given that H is equal to suppose 2000 kilojoule per kg, then you can multiply it with the 1000. So it's a 8 power 3 joule per kg. Okay. And so in this way you simplify the energy balance. Okay. Next thing is a turbine. Okay. So a turbine is a device in which power is developed as a result of a gas or liquid passing through a set of blades attached to a shaft free to rotate. Okay. So you know that a turbine is used to produce the work. Okay. So which comes here. Now you can simplify these equations. So always remember that H is in all the terms here having the unit joule per kg. Okay. In these terms. So if it is given in the kilojoule per kg or other units, you should convert it. Otherwise, you will get the wrong answer. Okay. So here, now I need to consider the turbine. Okay. So I know that turbine producing the work. Okay. And if you assume that the turbine is insulated, means there is no heat transfer from the turbine to the surrounding or from surrounding to the turbine. So this terms become the zero. Okay. Because it is the insulated. So you can say that it is the insulated. Okay. So and W in is the zero. Means what is the meaning that? Means you are not, you know that turbine is the work producing device, not a consuming device. So W in equal to zero. What is the W in? W in represents the work done on the system. So you are not doing any work on the systems. Okay. So this terms become the zero. Okay. You can assume that the kinetic energy and potential energy and change in kinetic energy and potential energy is negligible. So you can neglect it. How can you decide that? You can check the magnitude or value, and if it is lower than the H, then you can say that okay, kinetic energy and potential are having the very small value as comparison to the change in enthalpy, so you can neglect it. Okay. So here I assume that the change in kinetic energy and potential energy is negligible, so I neglected these terms. Okay. Okay. So what are the remaining terms? So it's written that minus W out plus M. You know that for the steady flow, mass flow rate, the inlet is equal to mass flow rate at the outlet. So M into H in minus H out. Okay. Equal to 0. So you can find that W out means the work produced by the turbine is equal to M into H in minus H out. Okay. So in this way, you will find the work produced by the turbine. Okay. So which terms become the 0? You can decide. Like here, I decided that turbine is insulated. If it is not insulated, suppose there is some heat transfer, then this term is not a 0. Okay. Suppose some energy is means heat is transferred from the turbine to the surrounding, then here Q in the 0, but Q out is not a 0. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
if turbine fluid is moving, so we should neglect velocity component of energy in mass.
I told you that na change in kinetic energy and potential energy.
Yes, H equals to U plus PV.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Changing kinetic because in turbine the mass is coming in and it is going
So here,
out. So velocity is same or what? I mean, we are deleting.
what I
Sorry.
say that you can compare the value. Okay, change in kinetic. If change in enthalpy is much higher than the change in kinetic energy, then you can neglect.
Kinetic energy and potential energy. Yes.
Yes, sir. If its
So
magnitude is very change in enthalpy magnitude is very large as comparison to the change in kinetic energy or change in potential energy, then you can neglect the change in kinetic energy and potential energy. Okay.
yes, sir.
If value is not means there is a comparative value, so you can't neglect that value. Okay. So it is based on your considerations. Means
Yes, sir.
what is the value? Means V2 is higher or not? Okay.
Yes, 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 sir. Thank you,
If
sir.
suppose for example, if delta H is approximately, or you can say that change in kinetic energy, so you can't neglect that in this case. You should consider these values because
Yes,
it's
sir.
affecting your results. Okay.
Yes.
So
Thank
depending
you.
on the magnitude of the terms, you should decide this terms is neglected or not. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now I say that if suppose there is a means a heat transfer, suppose heat loss from the turbine to the surrounding, then you are not supplying any heat to the turbine, so Q in 0. But there is a heat transfer from the turbine to the surrounding, then Q out is not a 0. Okay, it is a non-zero term, so you should consider that heat loss also. So based on the problem statement, you should read the problem statement carefully and then decide which terms become the zero or neglected. Okay. Similarly, here okay. Now compressor, pump, and fan. So you know that fan is increases the pressure of gas slightly and is mainly used to mobilize a gas. Okay, and the compressor is capable of compressing the gas to a very high pressure, and pump work very much like a compressor except that they handle the liquid instead of the gas. Okay, so when you are handling the gas and you want to increase the pressure, then you can use the compressor. If you are using the liquids, then you can use the pump. Okay, and fan is just used to mobilize the gas. It will also increase the pressure, but that not much. Means it's slightly increasing the pressure of the gas. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the fan, compressor, and the pump. But the working principle is the same. Okay, in all these three, we need to do the work on these systems. Okay, now again here come to the here. In case of the compressor or pump or fan, so you should decide. So here, if suppose compressor is, for example, I have considered a compressor. So compressor is insulated, then this terms again become the zero because compressor is the insulated. Okay, and now I ask this question to roll number 3534, Rohit Raj. 3534. Absent. 3534. Rohit.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you tell me that which terms become the zero in this case?
Sir, in compressor. Sir, in compressor, W out will be zero, sir. We will provide work in the system.
Yeah, because compressor is not producing any work. So this
No,
terms
sir, it
become
is
the
not
zero.
producing.
Okay, thank you. And if you are neglecting the kinetic energy and potential energy, then this terms become the 0. Okay. So what you will find that W in plus M into H in minus H out. Okay. Equal to 0. You can write that W in is equal to H out minus H in, okay, into M. So if suppose there is a heat transferred from the surrounding to the compressor, for example, okay, then what happened that then this terms
Q in
Q in
will be there.
yeah, Q in will be there because you are supplying the heat. Okay. So in this way, you should decide which terms become the 0. Okay. Next one is that the throttling valve. Okay. Throttling valves are any kind of flow restricting device. Okay. That causes significant pressure drop in the fluid. Okay. So if you remember that in turbine, when it's expand, okay, there is a pressure drop, okay, but it will producing the work, but throttling device is not producing any work, okay, but there is a pressure drop, okay. So for here I have showing some suppose valve, for example, adjustable valve, capillary tube, and the porous plug are the example of the throttling valves, okay. So now, so here, if you remember that we are using the throttling valve for the expansion in the refrigeration and air conditioning. So what happens that when the pressure drop in the fluid is accompanied by a large drop in the temperature, okay, that's why, because the temperature decreases, so that's why we are using a throttling device in the refrigeration and air conditioning system, okay, and also throttling is used in the Joule-Thomson expansion that I will discuss in the following lecture. Okay. So now you can consider the throttling valves as your systems and simplify the steady flow energy equation. So what happens that here in this case again, so you know that throttling valve is means suppose it's a very small device, okay. So often we assume that adiabatic, okay, since there is neither sufficient time nor large enough area for an effective heat transfer to take place, okay. So you can assume that this Q is the 0, okay. Throttling valve is not producing any work or consuming any work, so these terms become the 0, okay, no work done, okay. Now I can assume that the change in kinetic energy and potential energy is negligible, so you can neglect these terms, okay. Then what you will find that H2, or you can say that H in minus H out equal to 0. Yes, sir.
Sir, pressure drop is there means work will be there.
When you throttling valves used, for example, there is a valve, okay. So how it works? To decrease the pressure, you need valve. You are restricting the flow, no? So there is a significant pressure drop in the fluid. Okay, that's why it is called as a flow restricting device. If there is a no press, if you remember the fluid mechanics, there are different. Suppose there is a expansion, contraction, there is a pressure drop. If you remember that, the minor and major losses. I will remember that a head.
Go through pipes.
Yes, there is a bend. Then there is a restrictions. So there is a pressure drop. Okay. And called as one is the major pressure drop is due to the friction. Another is the minor pressure means head. You can in fluid mechanics we said head. What is that head? If you remember that H is equal to delta P by rho G, because its unit is the length, so that's why we call it the pressure head. Remember that. And Bernoulli equations is the sum of the pressure head plus kinetic head plus potential head equal to constant.
Yes, sir.
So there is a head loss due to the friction and due to some bend or restriction. So this is the pressure drop. Okay. So H in minus H out equal to 0. So what do you find that H in equal to H out? Okay. So sometimes this throttling device is called as the isenthalpic device. Why? Because here the enthalpy is constant. Okay. So, and you know that
Sir, sir, is throttling process always called isenthalpic? Because if there are other energy involved, then this equation will not be.
if suppose, what is the assumption I have considered here? There is no
No
heat,
heat transfer and
no work
enthalpy.
transfer. So if there is a, suppose there is a heat transfer, I told you the throttling device is very small, so there is no sufficient area
Area and time for heat
take a
transfer.
effective heat transfer. If there is a heat transfer in case of the capillary, capillary tubes, then you should consider the heat transfer. So at that time, it is not isenthalpic.
Yes, sir. Means this is special case, no, sir. Isenthalpic is special case for
That's
throttling.
why I told you, na, instead of remembering the equations, you should remember the concept, means where this equation is applicable. Means all
Yes,
the equations is simplified under some assumption. Okay.
yes, sir.
So when I simplified these equations, what I assume that there is no heat transfer, no work transfer, okay, neglecting
Means
the
adiabatic process is also assumption here.
yeah, you can say that there is no heat transfer na,
Yes.
between the system and surroundings.
There is much confusion about means about this. What it is adiabatic, it is isenthalpic. Always. That's why I asked, sir.
What is the meaning that adiabatic means?
No
There is
heat
a
transfer.
the confusion is the confusion with these terms reversible adiabatic and isentropic. Can you tell me that what is the difference between these two?
Reversible adiabatic and isentropic.
Yes.
I know that this throttling is irreversible process and it is adiabatic, so it is something called isenthalpic. But I don't know, sir. Reversible adiabatic and isentropic.
What is the meaning that isentropic process?
Isentropic is reversible adiabatic, but I don't know the difference.
There is no difference.
Yes.
all the reversible adiabatic process is the isentropic process, but all the isentropic process may not be the reversible adiabatic process. Remember these things. What I say that when I discuss entropy, I will discuss in the details.
Yes, sir. In thermodynamics, in case of generation of entropy, there it is isentropic, but it is not reversible. Yes, sir.
Yes. So reversible, all reversible adiabatic process is the isentropic process, but
Yes.
all isentropic process may not be reversible
May not
adiabatic.
be reversible adiabatic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that things I will discuss when I discuss about the entropy.
Yes,
So
sir.
here Okay. So here I have you can see that these things I already discussed last lecture. Here is isenthalpic process. So H in is equal to H out. Here I just written 1 and 2. You can remember that 1 represents the in, okay, and 2 represents the out. Okay. So E1 plus P1 B1 is equal to U2 plus P2 V2. Okay. So when P2 V2 greater than P1 V1, okay. So what happened that if one terms is increasing, so other terms may be decreasing. So what happened that E2 less than E1. Okay. So you can see that here in case of the flow energy, if the flow energy increases during the pressures, means P2 V2 greater than P1 V1, then internal energy decreases. You can see that. So temperature decreases. You know that I already discussed these things. So then the internal energy decreases, which is accompanied by the drop in the temperature. Okay. Next thing, reverse means if P2 V2 is less than P1 V1, then what happens that P1 V1, then you can say that U2 greater than E1. So what happens that temperature increases. Okay. So the product means PV decreases, the internal energy and the temperature of the fluid increases during the throttling process. Okay. So when I discuss the Joule-Thomson expansion, you should there is some conditions. Okay. Before if it is what happened that it is heating and then it's cooling. Okay. So that things I will discuss in the when I discuss about the Joule-Thomson expansion. Okay. So you should remember this throttling, and this concept is used in the throttling expansions, and which is very important in the cryogenic system. Okay. So throttling, you should remember that what is the process. You know that when there is no heat transfer, work transfer, and neglecting the kinetic energy and potential energy, then enthalpy at the inlet is equal to the enthalpy at the outlet. Okay. So during the isenthalpic process, it may not be that we are getting the temperature drop. There is some conditions. That things I will discuss when I discuss about the Joule-Thomson expansion. Okay. Next device which used in the cryogenic system is the heat exchanger. Okay. Heat exchanger compressor we used. Okay. Then valve we used for the expansion. Then heat exchanger. Okay. So heat exchangers, here I have written that I assume that it's indirect. So there is no direct contact between the two fluid. Okay. There may be the direct contact also between the hot and cold fluid. So here I considered the heat exchangers are devices where two moving fluid systems exchange the heat without mixing. Okay. Means what is the meaning that here the one fluid is flowing through one pipe, another fluid is flowing through another pipe. Okay. So here you can see that this one. Okay. So blue one, there is a fluid A entering. Okay. And from here on the top. Okay. Now I have considered this is the control volume. Okay. And you know that what is the mechanism between the heat transfer between the two fluid? If it is separated by a pipe, then what happens that suppose hot fluid is flowing through.
Convection and conduction.
Yeah. So we are hot fluid transferring the energy to the wall. Okay. And inside the wall there is a conduction, heat transfer, and this conduction from other side of the wall, means outer side, it is exchanging the energy with this pipe. Okay. So in this way, the energy transfer between the one fluid to the another fluid. Okay. Now I have considered the control surface is means this, you can see that a dotted line. So this is the control surface, means I have considered both the fluid as a one system. Okay. Means there is a no heat transfer from this control volume to the surroundings. Okay. So you can simplify this steady flow energy equations. So here, what is the control volume I have considered? Control volume I have considered this one. Okay, this is my control volume. Okay, so there is a no heat transfer. I assume that the outer of the heat exchanger, so this one is the insulated, this portion. Okay, it is a insulated, so there is a no heat transfer. So what you say that? So this terms means there is no heat transfer between the system and the surroundings. So Q in or Q out both is the 0. Okay, and heat exchanger is not producing or consuming any work, so these terms become the 0. Okay, and neglecting the kinetic energy and potential energy, so these terms become the 0. So what you will get that M in H in is equal to M out H out. Okay, so here there is a multiple inlet and outlet, so we can use the summation. Okay, if you remember that when there is a multiple inlet and outlet, so we can use the summation. So that's why I have written here summation. Okay, so how many inlet and outlet here? There is a 2 inlet and 2 outlet. Okay, so when you write, you can write that M A and you can consider this one is the 1 and this is the this is the 1 inlet as the 1 and this one is the 2. Okay, and here you can consider it's A and this one is the B. So you can write that MA into H1 plus MB, and what is the enthalpy at inlet is HA. Okay, or you can consider another numbers of 3 or 4 you can consider. So there is no confusion because A and B is the fluid, no? So you can consider 3 and 4. Okay, so MB into 3. Okay, and outlet, how many outlets? There is 2 outlets. So MA H2 plus MB H4. Okay, so in this way you will do the energy balance. Okay, now my next question to the roll number 3536.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I have considered there is this whole heat exchanger as my system. Okay, now I have considered the fluid A is my system. Okay,
Yes.
okay, and it is in this rectangle now, which I draw here.
Yes, sir.
It is a control surface. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this equation is valid.
Because the system is means changing here. First case in system we assume it is adiabatic, but here in this case, since the fluid A is system, there is a heat exchange between fluid A and fluid B. So
Yeah.
we cannot take net heat equals to 0.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So here, so you should remember that how you draw the boundary is very important. Okay. In the first case, I assume the fluid A and fluid B is my system. Okay. So there is no heat transfer from this to the surroundings. Okay. And I told you that when you consider fluid A is your system, then what happens that outside of the system is everything is the surroundings. Okay, so the fluid B is exchanging the energy with the fluid A, and fluid A is my system. So in this time the heat transfer is not a 0, so you should consider the Q. Okay, so here you can net heat transfer, you can say that here you can consider the Q in. Okay, Q net, I am talking about Q net. Okay, then you can write that plus summation M into H. okay, is equal to out, or you can write a minus sign here also, better, m into h equal to 0. Okay, so depends on how you have considered the boundary or control surface is very important. So now you can see that here, because, and this, what is this? This Q is represents the net energy exchange between the fluid A and fluid B. Okay, so here Q is represent the net energy exchange. Okay, but earlier we have considered both as the one system, so we are not worried about what is the energy exchange between the two fluids. Okay, but when you consider the fluid A and how much energy it's exchanging with the fluid B, then you can consider this heat transfer. So I hope you understand that how to simplify the energy balance. So you just need to remember these equations. What is this? This is the deposit minus withdraw is equal to your saving. Okay. If you remember this one, you are easily simplify the equations for any steady flow device or any system. Okay. So these things you should remember that. Okay. Next chapters which I am going to discuss is the second law of thermodynamics. Okay. So why we need a second law of thermodynamics? The first things, first law will tell you the amount of energy transfer. Okay, it is not tell you the directions. Suppose here you consider that there is a hot fluid and outside hot coffee. Okay, so outside there is a cold surroundings. So what happened that you know that energy transfer from the hot coffee to the surrounding. Okay, but reverse is not possible. So these things is tell you the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so satisfying the first law alone does not ensure that process will actually take place. Okay, so for the process, if there is a heat means what is called, you should also discuss the directions. Okay, just telling the amount of energy. So you remember that the first so satisfying the first law alone does not ensure that the process will actually take place. Okay, the process proceed in a certain direction. We know that hot coffee is always cold if it is keep in the cold medium. Okay, it is not like this if you keeping the hot fluid. Okay, once it's cold and in the cold environment it is again heated. Okay, so there is the process proceed in a certain direction, not in the reverse direction. Okay, the first law places no restriction on the direction of the process. So first law is not telling you the directions in which direction the process proceed. Okay, so this law is decided, means whether the process can take place is decided by the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so a process can occur when it satisfies both the first law and second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so if only satisfying the first law is not a process, may not be occurred. Okay, so a process cannot occur unless if it satisfies both the first and second law of thermodynamics. Okay, and if you remember that from the first law of thermodynamics, from the thermodynamics, that first law tell you the quantity of the energy, means it tell you the amount. Okay, while second law tell you the what is called quality. Okay, as well as the quantity. What is the meaning that if you remember that you can convert the work completely and directly into the heat, means without using any device you can convert the work into the heat. Okay, because work is the high quality energy. Okay, while the heat is the low quality energy or low grade energy. So when you converting the low grade energy into the high grade energy, okay, means for example you are using the heat and producing the work, then you need a device. Okay, so you cannot completely convert the low grade energy into the high grade energy. Okay, so the second law will tell you the quality as well as the quantity. Okay, while the first law concerned with the quantity of energy and its transformation. You know that from the first law, energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. It can only change from one form to another form. So the first law will tell you the quantity of the energy and its transformation from one form to another form. Okay. So this is the basic difference between the first law and the second law. And the second law also, there is no proof of the second law. There is no mathematical proof. It is based on the experimental observation. Okay. So it is also a fundamental law. Next, so before I am going to discuss this Kelvin Planck. So here there is a thermal energy reservoir. It is called as a source. Okay, and it is energy exchanging the energy. This is the device. Okay, and this is a cyclic device. Cyclic means what? Inlet. Initial and final state are the same. Okay, and producing work W. Okay, and takes up. It taken the thermal energy reservoir, which is at a high temperature. Suppose it is at a temperature T1, okay, which is and taken the energy Q1, okay, and supplying to the energy to the sink, which is at a temperature low temperatures T2. So here I assume that T1 greater than T2, okay, and heat this device supplied the energy to the sink as the Q out or Q2. You can write Q out. Okay, and producing the net work produced by this device is the W net. Okay. This source and sink is a hypothetical body and having the very large energy capacity, means very large thermal energy capacity. So when I discuss about the very large thermal energy capacities, I discuss about, means I am talking about M into Cp, not Cp. Cp is the specific heat. Okay. So when I say that large thermal energy capacity means MCP value is very large. Okay. So when it is very large, what happens that? So when it is transferring the energy, its temperature is not going to change. Okay. Because its capacity is very, means thermal energy capacity is very large. So exchanging the, means transferring or observing the energy by this reservoir is not going to change the temperature. Means what I say that, for example, the T1 is the constant and T2 is the constant. For example, you can consider the environment or lake where you just supplying the energy. It is not going to change the temperature. Why? Because we assume that its thermal energy capacity is very large. Okay. So when it's so here you can see that source means here this device is known as the heat engine. Okay, this device is known as the heat engine. So what is the heat engine? So heat engine is used to convert the work into the work. Okay, so I told you that heat is the low grade energy, and to convert into the high grade energy means the work, we need a device, and that device is known as the heat engine. Okay, so And if you find the efficiency, how much means portion of the heat has been converted into the work, it is called as the thermal efficiency. Okay, so thermal efficiency you can write as the desired output. So what is the desired output from the heat engine to produce the net work?
W
So,
net.
W net. Okay, divided by what is the required input? Required input, we have taken the
Q in.
heat from the source, so it is the Q in. Okay, so this one is valid for any systems because it's a, you can write here and W net, you can see that what the W net here, because it's working on the cyclic. If you remember that for the cyclic device, change in internal energy is the 0. Okay, or change in total energy is the 0. So you can see that net work, last lecture I discussed these things, is equal to the net heat supplied. Okay, and that is thing with the Q out minus, sorry, Q in minus Q out. Q in minus Q out. Okay, it's a net input, net heat transfer to the systems. So now you can substitute that 1 minus write Q in minus Q out. Okay, divided by the Q in. Okay, so you can write 1 minus Q out by Q in. Okay, so you know that Q out is always less than the Q in. Okay, so efficiency is always less than 1. Okay, so it is means the efficiency is always less than 100%. Okay, so this equations is I will write, then I will ask. Roll number 3567. 3567 Akshay. Akshay SN. 3567 absent. Roll number 5125. 5125 Ujjwal Kumar. 5125 Ujjwal Kumar. 3567. Okay. What happened? Okay, mic issue. Okay, next one is the 5126. 5126.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here I have written that 1 minus Q out by Q in is equal to 1 minus T2 by T in. Okay. So
Yes.
can you tell me that is this equations means efficiency formula is valid for the any process or not? My question is that if I have written the eta TH is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1, so this formula is valid for any process or not?
Sorry, sir. I don't know answer.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Next one is the 5127.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, have you heard my question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Yes, sir.
your answer? Hmm?
Sir, if the process is reversible, then only it is valid.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you. So, if you remember that there is a formula means Q2 by Q1 is equal to T2 by T1. Okay. So, this means heat transfer ratio is equal to temperature ratio is only valid when the process is the reversible. Okay. But if you are written in terms of the eta TH is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q Q1, then it is valid for any process. Why? Because it's energy balance. Okay. And you remember that when I discussed about the energy balance or conservation of energy, it is valid for any system and any process. Okay. So here, what is this? This thing is represent the energy balance, na? And it is valid for any process, either it's a reversible or irreversible. So these equations is valid for any process. Okay, for any process. But this one, when you written in terms of the temperature ratio, this is only valid for the reversible process. So remember that these things. When you written in terms of the temperature ratio, means efficiency is written in terms of the temperature ratio, it is valid only for the reversible process. Why? Because heat transfer ratio is equal to temperature ratio is valid only for the reversible process. Okay. And when you written the efficiency in terms of the heat transfer ratio, it is valid for the any process because it is coming from the energy balance. Okay. So when it's coming from the energy balance, it is valid for the any process, either it's a reversible or irreversible process. Okay. So if suppose there is a Q out equal to 0, what is the meaning that? It means that you can substitute here Q2 by Q1. So Q2 is 0. So efficiency is the 100%. Okay. So these things is coming from the Kelvin-Planck statements, which say that what they say that Kelvin-Planck statements say that it is impossible for any device that operates on a cycle. Okay, I already discussed these things, to receive the heat from a single reservoir. So if there is no heat transfer to the sink, what is the meaning that the heat engine is working with only one source, means only one reservoir, that is a source. Okay. So whatever amount of energy, means heat is taken from the source is completely converted into the work. Okay. So Kelvin-Planck statement say that it is impossible for any device that operate on a cycle to receive a heat from a single reservoir, means there is no sink. Okay. And produce the net amount of work, means it is completely converted this heat into the work. Okay. So no heat engine can have a thermal efficiency of 100%, and it is not due to the any friction or dissipative effect. It is due to the limitations. Okay, it's coming from the second law. Okay, so it is a limitation that apply to both RD light and actual heat engines. Okay, so this is the Kelvin-Planck statement. Okay, another one. There are two statements you can say that for second law. One is the Kelvin-Planck statement, and you see that what is this? Here the no heat engine works with the only one reservoir. Okay, and not completely convert the heat into the work. Okay, it always transferring some energy to the sink. Okay. So there is no device which work with the one reservoir. Okay. Another one is that so here what I assume that the energy transfer from the what is called from source to sink. Okay. If there is some energy transfer from the sink to the source, we need again a device. You know that for process take place from the high temperature to the low temperature side. Okay, if there is a energy transfer from the low temperature body to a high temperature body, then we need to do some work. Okay, and we need a device. That device is a refrigerator or heat pump. Okay, the refrigerator and the heat pumps are also a cyclic device. Okay, what is the meaning that the initial and final state are the same. Okay. And to measure the performance of this refrigerator or heat pump, we are using one term that is called as the coefficient of performance, COP, and it says that a desired output divided by the required input. Okay. So it based on the your output, what you want. Okay. So this formula is valid for the, if you define the coefficient of performance for refrigerator or pump, heat pump. Okay. So it is the same, but the desired output may be the different. Okay. And what is the required input? The required input is the net work supplied to the device. Okay. So now let's see. So here again I have considered the hot one is the temperatures. Suppose a TH. Okay. And this is the cyclic device. So you can say that is the refrigerator or heat pump. Here I consider, for example, consider the refrigerator. Okay. So and the net work done is, you can say that W net in, and this is a cold body temperature at the low temperature TC. Okay. So here I assume that TH greater than TC. Okay. And the energy transfer is the QL. You can say TL. Okay, here QL, and this is the QH. So in case of the refrigerator, what is our objective? Our objective is to maintain the refrigerator space at a low temperatures. Okay. So in this case, you can what is the COPR? COPR means coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. So that's why I have used the subscript R. Okay. So you can say that desired output is the QL. Okay. We need to maintain refrigerated space at a low temperature. Okay. And what is the required input? So you know that from
net work.
Yes. So net work. So it is a W net in. Okay. So W net in. Okay. So again, W net in is the equal to, do the energy balance. So what is it? This is the QH minus QL. Okay. So you can write it here. QL divided by the QH minus QL. Okay. So this is the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator is coming written in terms of the heat transfer. So it is valid for any process, either it is a reversible or irreversible process. But when I written in terms of the temperatures, so it is valid only for the reversible process. Okay. TH minus TL. Okay. So this one is valid because it's written in the temperature, so it is valid for the only for the reversible process. Remember that. Okay. Reversible process. But this one is valid for any process. This one. Okay. For any process. Okay. Now what happens that if suppose I am considering the heat pump. So what is the change here? So I need to maintain my high temperatures body, means at higher temperatures. Okay. So the objective of heat pump is to maintain the heated space at a high temperatures. Okay. So again, here what is the desired output? You need to supply the heat completely. So here I will write again here. Okay. So you can write subscript HP means heat pump. Okay. So COP of the heat pump is equal to here QH divided by W net in, and again QH. Okay. So here the temperature is the TH. Okay. So this one is again valid for any process, and this one is valid if you written in terms of the temperature. So it is valid for the reversible process. Okay. So the law associated with this one is that Clausius statement. Okay. So Clausius statement what say that? So it is impossible to construct a device that operates in a cycle and produce no effect other than transfer of heat from a low temperature body to a high temperature body. Okay. What is this? Say that Clausius statement is impossible to construct a device that operates in a cycle and produce no effect. Okay. Other than transfer of heat, you can see that transfer of heat from a cold body to hot body without using any device. Okay. So that is not possible. We need a device, and the device you can say that either a refrigerator or a heat pump. Okay. To transfer the energy from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. So this one is not possible if you are not using any device. But this one is possible. You know that heat transfer is always from the high temperature body to the low temperature body. That's why it's written that yes, heat is transferred from high temperature body to low temperature body without using any device. Okay. But if you need to transfer the energy from the low temperature body to the high temperature body, then we need a device. So that's why this process is not possible if you are not using any device. That's why it's written that no. Okay. So both the Kelvin Planck and Clausius, now you understand that Kelvin Planck are talking about the heat engine and Clausius statement is related to the refrigerator and heat pump. Okay. Because it's talking about the energy transfer from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. Okay. So both the Kelvin Planck and the Clausius statement of the second law of thermodynamics are negative statement. Okay. And negative statement cannot be proved. Okay. So there is no proof of these things. The second law of thermodynamics is based on the experimental observation. Okay. So again, it is a fundamental law and there is no mathematical proof. So this, because of it is based on this law is based on the experimental observation. Okay. In next lecture, I will discuss. It's look both are the different, but both are the same. Both are equivalent. Okay, so that things I will discuss in the next lecture, and also discuss about the reversible, irreversible process. Okay, and what is the causes of the irreversible process? So that things I will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, so now I'm going to take your attendance. And if you have any question, you can ask me. Roll number 3117.
Present, sir.
3118.
Present, sir.
3119. Sailendra. 3119. Sailendra Kumar. If there is some problems, you will raise your hand. There is options. You can see that there is option to raise your hand. Shailendra. I think absent. Shailendra is absent. Shailendra Kumar. Roll number 3120.
Present, sir.
3121.
Present,
Rangaswamy.
sir.
3124. Sagun.
Present, sir.
3527. 3527.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Yeah. 3529. Mohit.
Present, sir.
3530.
Present, sir.
3532.
Present, sir.
3534.
Present, sir.
3536.
Present, sir.
3567. Akshay. 3567. Akshay. Okay. You will raise your hand. Okay. The 5125. Ujjwal. 5125. Ujjwal Kumar. Absent. 5125. Ujjwal Kumar absent. 5126.
Present.
5127.
Present, sir.
5128,
Present, sir.
5129,
Present, sir.
5537,
Sir.
5538,
Present, sir.
5539,
Present, sir.
5540,
Present, sir.
5541,
Present, sir.
5542,
Present, sir.
5543,
Present, sir.
5544,
Present, sir.
5545.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you have any question? Otherwise, I will close this meeting, sir.
Sir, I have one question about previous lectures.
Huh?
Sir, in nozzle, we design for subsonic flows converging. For supersonic, we design nozzle as diverging. But what about the perfectly sonic flows? If we want to increase the velocity of them, what should be our design?
No. What is the sonic for the sonic flow?
Yes, perfectly sonic.
If a flow entered at, you know that at the minimum area, the flow is always at the sonic. So if fluid entered, suppose in case of the converging duct, okay, fluid entered at the as a sonic flow means velocity is lower than the speed of sound, and it will achieve maximum velocity which it achieve when it flow through the converging duct is the sonic means the velocity is equal to the speed of sound. Okay.
Means for
Similarly,
sonic flows,
Hmm?
we should use converging. For perfectly sonic flows, we
It
should use
depends.
converging.
See that
Converging for increasing velocity.
it depends on the fluid. It is entered as a suppose fluid entered at
Air.
a sonic
Suppose
speed.
let us take fluid as air.
Huh.
So,
No, what I am saying that fluid is entered with a velocity lower than the speed of sound. Okay.
yes, yes, sir. We
So
are
what is the meaning
discussing
of subsonic flow? Okay.
yes, subsonic to supersonic for converging and supersonic to sonic for diverging. Sir, I am asking for perfectly sonic means V equal to C. Means in
So that is the thing. Na? When is the V equal to C? When there is a minimum area, na?
minimum area.
Where is it the minimum area?
In
If fluid entered
minimum,
from the subsonic to sonic, the outlet, na?
yes, sir. But I'm asking for design. How should we design? How should we increase the perfectly? Means we cannot maintain the state of air as sonic and increase its velocity.
No. How can I define that? Either a fluid,
Sorry. Yes, yes.
either suppose
That question is wrong because if it increase the velocity, it becomes supersonic.
either fluid enter at the subsonic or at the supersonic. This is
Yes,
correct. Is it
yes.
correct? And
Yes,
if it is enter the subsonic, supersonic, then what is the minimum value? That is the I think there is a one relation. So dA by A means change in area. Okay, in terms of the Mach number. And where is it that the area where the Mach number is equal to 1 when the
K by
area is the
under
minimum.
K by rho. Yes, Mach number. Yeah.
Mach number is 1. Mach number is equal to 1 when the area is the minimum. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you design, if you need suppose from the subsonic to supersonic, then which type of duct you are using?
Subsonic to supersonic. We are using converging diverging duct. Means
So
you
so
should
there is a one locations where the
where the
Mach
area
number-
is minimum and that
one
area.
location. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So
At
what
that
is the name of that location?
I don't know. At that location,
Have
Mach
you
number
heard?
is
Have you heard about the throat?
throat. Yes, sir.
So what is the throat? Throat is the minimum area
Minimum area.
where the Mach number is equal to 1.
In casting, it is used.
Yes. So when flow coming from the subsonic to supersonic, there is a one location where the area is the minimum and the Mach number is equal to 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And also depends on the back pressure, effect of the back pressure.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So you can refer to your fluid mechanics books that there is a effect of the back pressure, how it will changing. Okay, there is not always that means fluid coming from the subsonic to sonic, and then again it comes to the sonic. Okay, because of the effect of the back pressure. If you remember the converging diverging duct, fluid is coming from the subsonic to sonic.
Subsonic
And-
to supersonic.
Yeah, but it is not always happened. It depends on the if the back pressure is in the within the range. If back pressure is not in the range, then again it comes to the subsonic. Okay, so it is not always that is if you are using the converging diverging duct. Okay, and fluid is entered as the subsonic, it will become the supersonic. There is another condition that your back pressure is within the range. Otherwise, what happens that it will come to the again to the subsonic region. Means entered as a subsonic and leaves as a subsonic. Okay. So you should refer fluid mechanics book that compressible flow for more details. Okay. There is a one topic effect of the back pressure. Okay. On the velocity distribution and the Mach number and the mass flow rate.
Yes, sir.
Okay.